COD loves AMD.
I'm presuming Roby's doing this because he already tested it, so we'll see.
I have not tested this, but
oh, this will be interesting.
I have tested a 14700K on an MA824, and this is 1 degree cooler than an MA824, so this should absolutely work. But we will find out, because we finished a review of this cooler, and this cooler is a 250 watt TDP, so it should be fine. But we're going to find out. Okay, so what you're going to do now is we're actually going to place the motherboard on top of the Mobo box. So this is a little bit different than what you would typically see. And then the 3080 has an RGB light. It lights up, but that's kind of it. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go ahead and breadboard this. So we're going to put in our, and don't forget to hit the likes, guys. Yeah, this cooler, and it's 99 bucks, is a fantastic cooler. So it should cool it no problem. And it should also be quiet. But we'll show you how to set it up to make sure it can. Yeah, this is a special box. So yeah. Just getting the graphic fixed.
So Roby, while we're waiting for the graphic,
it's
how big is it?
Huh? No, it's. I'm just telling you what was wrong with it. Go ahead. What's the question?
My question was, how big is this motherboard? Do we have anything to scale it with?
Oh, we do, but I forgot them. I'll have them bring them over. I was wondering where those came from. I'll have my, hold on. Let me just have my, yes, we do have something to scale it with. Let me go take care of that and not ruin the surprise. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what we've done is we've essentially put there's not going to be any points today. Especially, we'll do it for zip ties, but outside of that, nothing else for guessing and stuff today, because I don't want it where the clicks are going to be different. So yeah. Okay, so we got that in. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install our RAM, which in this case we have the Kingston Fury. This is just 6,000 mega transfer, no RGB DDR5 at 6,000 megahertz. Chippy skipping leg day. So it's not Beast. Well, maybe it is Beast. I didn't know. I mean, I sent him the actual model number, so Tom would know. Just doesn't say Beast on. Oh yeah, it is Beast. Never mind. So that is correct. There we go. Okay, here we go. Let's get these in. So for these, we got double slots basically on the Mobo here, guys. You zoom in. Hey, ZigPC, thank you very much for the sub. You zoom in here, right here, it's actually showing you where you're actually supposed to put the RAM. We're going to put it in RAM. We're going to basically put it in DIMM 2, and then we're going to put it here in this one as well. So these are the two slots we want to stick the RAM. Ooh, that was a good sounding click, though. Probably would have been good on the meter. Oh, there we go. Okay, so RAM is in. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install our NVMe drives. Yeah, it is Beast RAM. I mean, again, for me, it's it's not. I'm not overly worried about it for the RAM because for the colors because the case is going to be covering it. I think you're all right for some people's color combinations. I don't know why they decided to go bright yellow. It does feel like a little bit kind of out there from a visual aesthetic standpoint. But I mean, it doesn't. I mean, we've made it look good before. We've used this in black builds and it's looked fine. It's minor, right? I don't think it's as bad, but yeah. But I kind of like the all black aesthetic and simpler of like the carbon and the OG version of the Z790 versus the refreshed version. Okay, let's grab our 1 terabyte. I'm gonna throw it in the top slot.
Roby, is there still a peel on that?
On what?
The slot.
No, both of them are clean.
Okay, just the camera then.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Oh. It's always like the part where you gotta get this in just right. Wow. There we go. There we go. Pop this on now, which very, very simple. It's got a little latch on it. You just pop it in like so. There you go. And then we'll take the second one, we'll put it into 2. There we go, and there is no peel on this, just so you guys know. Okay, and then as you guys have requested, people want to know things for scale. Okay. So we want to make sure that we can show you guys appropriate scale, and so the team took it upon themselves to make sure that we could appropriately show you the scale of said components from now on. So just so you know, here is an ATX motherboard versus a banana. So you might even be able to say that if you want to know if, like, to just appropriately measure it at all times, so we can make sure that we know, because I feel like this is important, right? Like, you really want to know, and you want a standard measurement for motherboards. This motherboard is in fact 1 3/4 bananas in height, right? So I feel like that's really important to know. While the motherboard box is almost a 2 total bananas in height. So just so you know, standard measurement if you guys are curious about said links, and we will make sure that we use bananas for reference in all cases. So there is a NVMe versus a banana, which is super important, right? You want to know that.
They are definitely not plantains.
No. And then there is a CPU versus a banana. And then RAM is almost a banana in length. You're not quite, you know. So again, we have bananas on standby for all appropriate questions in the future.
This is the new imperial system coming from America, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Get used to it.
Get used to it. It's like everything is measured in bananas. There we go. Now I know who sent these. My wife was like, "What's up with the bananas?" I was like, "I think I know where those are from." But I was like, they won't let me forget if they are. Okay, cool. So that is everything all on our motherboard and set and good to go. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and throw some thermal paste on here. In our case, we use NTH2, and then for my spreading, I essentially use a thermal paste spreader. So what I do is I basically do a pretty good sized dot. You want to be able to spread it pretty easily. So it's a little bit bigger than the little P that they talk about. I have a tendency to also make sure that it's essentially 1/125th of a banana in thickness in terms of from the bottom. So like in terms of that's how tall my dab of thermal paste is 1/25th of the height of a banana. So, which everybody should know. I mean, like, that's like a standard measurement, right? So, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna spread that out. And you just want to make sure you have a good, even spread here. It takes some time. Do not use bananas to spread it, though. I'm just letting you know. That might be harder.
There is a Japanese thermal paste, though, that smells like strawberries. So
I know, I
if
saw
you're thinking of strawberries and bananas,
Falcon Northwest has, I think, it put it exactly. This is a very appealing measuring system.
It's Falcon here. Oh, Kelt's like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't miss this episode.
Oh, I am. I've been waiting since I got the notification it arrived.
Well, luckily it'll be a standard from now on. The bananas we need. In bananas we trust. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there is our thermal paste, nice and evenly spread. Oh, it's a universal. You're absolutely right. And thank you very much for getting us bananas. We're all about it. And I'm glad you were excited that you found something that you can add.
I was talking with Damien about it as soon as we had been joking about it, and he's like, "Oh, we should so do this." I'm like,
if we could get sponsored by Dole, that'd be rad. And then we get like a free lifetime supply of bananas.
I mean, we just go get some Dole Whips.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be amazing. That's pineapple though. We got to get pineapple into the show somehow. Okay. So what we are going to show you guys now, and we're still getting this breadboarded, but we're going to test this with the cooler. You can do this with an AIO as well. We were testing the brand new Corsair A115 or A115 cooler. We have the review for this coming out next week. So the video is an edit, all that sort of stuff. Fan-freaking-tastic cooler. In terms of just comparatively to their first entry, which was almost 3 years ago. In terms of performance, it's better than a D15 and slightly, I mean just slightly below an MA824. So very, very excited, and they dropped the price from $129.99 down to $99.99. So from a performance value, it's actually still very, very impressive. When we tested it with the 14600K or 13600K, I don't remember you'd have to go back and look at the data when the review comes out. I was averaging around 82, which was actually pretty cool. So we're gonna be showing this off, getting this installed, and then we'll basically get everything. So in this case, what we're doing is we're gonna build the entire PC outside of the case, make sure all the components work. So if there are any issues, it's much easier to work in versus having to strip things out. Falcon says, get a larger cooler, please. This is fine. This is fine, okay? And then we're gonna show you how to install this and stuff like that. Speed Racer, it got dropped before it even released. So luckily, because of just the way some embargoes and things work, they were able to bring the price down. Yeah. It's the size of a house. I like that. Just so you know, it's not the size of a house. It's about the size of one banana in height. So I'm just saying, that's not a house. You can't live in a banana, but you can measure things with a banana. So let's just make sure we get that right, okay? I'm doing well. Thank you very much for asking, T-Man. Okay, so here we are. We're just going to take out our fans real quick and our other supplies we need, which in this case is like they've gone to this new recycle for everything, which makes it a little harder in terms of opening and stuff like that. But yeah, there we go. We're going to grab our cooler. And go from there. The fans are 100. I think they're 140s. But the one thing that I really actually appreciate about this cooler is the size of the cooling plate. I mean, this thing is like a Snuggie for your CPU. I mean, check it out, guys. Go to top down here so you guys can just look at how big that cooling plate is. Very, very nice size cooling plate for doing your installation and everything like that, which is actually pretty cool. So I like it. I like it a lot. And then now, it just has, the other thing that's really neat about this is the way that this works is it's on a rail system. So here we'll go to a side camera here so you guys can see this. Actually, we'll just grab our roaming cam That'll be the easiest way for you to be able to see it. So you go to roaming here, and then you'll actually be able to see there's actually little, like almost little rails, and you can just lift it right up and off. And then the top of it actually has a rail system for basically putting the thing. So like getting the fans on is very easy because you don't have to do any clips or anything like that. It just has rails that are on the fan that you just slide on and off. So it makes it really, really easy in that regard, which is pretty cool. So we've slid it out and it's now ready to be installed.
Arachnus has asked, is that fan fully user replaceable?
Yes, yep, it is fully user replaceable. You can unscrew the, I'll show you a close-up here in a second. Yes, you can replace the fan. It's not like the MA824. It's got brackets on it, as you can see, and you can just replace the brackets so if you wanted to replace the fan, you absolutely could replace the fan. So we're going to grab the Intel retention kit. Just going to be careful in opening this. So it's got our Intel clips. There we go. We got our thumb pieces, of which there's 4. Yes, there are air coolers with screens. We've actually used them. Deep Cool makes them. I wouldn't be surprised if we see, and then we have Intel LGA 1700. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in time Corsair releases those two. Like that there would be a Corsair one with a screen. Okay, so there we go. Get our getting all this out. And I'll show you everything I've taken out of the paper here so you guys can, if you're following along or trying to do this build, you're not like, what did he take out? It's like, I want to make super clear. T-Man, which news? There was actually a lot of news today. Yeah, we can show you that, James, here in a minute. I don't know if I'm guessing Damien's not here, but I don't know if somebody can look up the cooler height real quick. If Org or somebody can look up the cooler height.
The specs say 164.8, so let's call it 165.
So 165
and higher if you have to do an offset.
Yeah. And then here are the fan clips. Gotta be careful here. Ooh. Trying very hard to open this and not rip it, so. There we go. And then there's our fan screws. So we're just getting everything out for our fans. Okay, cool. Okay, that's everything. And this does work for AMD as well. You can absolutely do this. This is a very easy kind of cooler to get set up, which is actually pretty neat. Okay, so we're just going to get this all placed back together. All right, so let me show you what we've got out. So here's everything that you will need for this particular build. So we have our cooler. We have our fans, our 2 fans, like so. We have fan brackets. We have 4 screws for the fan brackets. We have our LGA 1700 parts. We have our Intel mounts, and then we've got our Intel backplate. So this is everything that you need for this particular build, so that I took out of the A115 box. So, and then again, there's pretty simple instructions on how to do that. Okay, so I can measure my banana that we have. This banana is essentially 7¼ inches long. So that's how big this banana is, 7¼ inches. So if you are curious, like if I say it's one banana, it's 7¼ inches in length. Okay, so let's go ahead, push this stuff out of the way, start getting our build put together. So we're gonna grab our bracket right here, which is already kind of built. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna literally set this on the back like that. It'll just slip right in. Pretty straightforward process here. And there we go. And we're gonna set this and kind of set it down and roll it back up. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our brackets, our little mounting screws. We're gonna mount them and go in every corner. And you're gonna go you wanna go as tight, as finger tight as you can. Nice speed. I would say be patient. That would be my one sentence on how to do it. Be patient and take your time, right? If you have a question, you don't know something, look it up. And there's no need to get it done quickly. Doing things in a rush is what breaks components. Okay, there we go. Tighten it really nice. That's your back in IT again? Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations. Well, that's unfortunate, okay, but they got it fixed. They're gonna refund you. Wow, 3 more certifications. That's a lot. Okay, so I'm just gonna make that nice and finger tight. Then we're gonna do this next one. And then on the bottom of this, just as an FYI, there is a little washer. So you want the part with the washer down and the part with the silver up. And there we go. Okay, next step is we're going to put this in. What we should probably do is make sure that we're doing this right. Yeah, it definitely goes like this. But I'm going to read the instructions because this is not even. So I'm just going to make sure. And when in doubt, read the instructions, guys. Which I have to grab off of the box here. Just scrolling, accept cookies. Put the back on. Put the screws on. Okay, so it's at the top. Okay, so I was right. Okay. But it doesn't seem straight. That's the part that's weird. Like, that's not... Hey, Zigpig, thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs. Okay, there, that one's straight. I just want to make sure it's even. There we go, okay. There we go. Okay, so just making sure that they're even. Now we're going to screw this down, and you're going to want to use a screw to screw these all the way down. You want to make sure these are tight, because this tightness does actually matter. That doesn't mean over tighten. It just means tighten to make sure that it's all the way down, because if you don't, then you won't get a good seal against your CPU. Got to snap those brackets out to max distance. So the brackets are already, these aren't like Asus ones. There's only one hole for the brackets. So it only goes in one way. So yeah, since the bracket's all the way in, and notice I'm just screwing this and making sure it's nice and tight. Just like that. Okay, now for the next step, we're going to take the Corsair. I believe the Corsair is going on the right side. So it's going to go like, making sure. Okay, cool. Yep, so the Corsair is going to go on the left-hand side, like so. Just like that. Tighten it down. There we go. Pretty straightforward there. There we go. Same thing with this one. Tighten it all the way down. Make sure it is all the way down. It's just gonna stop. You can't go anymore. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our rail one, and you're just going to slide this onto the rail like so. Makes it really easy to make sure it's snug. There we go, just like that. Okay, and then you can notice that for the second one, we got to get this installed. So the way that this essentially works is you're going to install it like this, so that this is up at the top. No, we might do some Mickey Mouse play-by-play a little bit later. There we go. We'll screw this down. Same thing with this one. Just make sure it's nice and tight. You don't need to over tighten it, but just go till it stops, you know? There we go. Same thing with the left side. Yeah, there's thermal paste. I put the thermal paste on beforehand. This is obviously, we did this for the review, so this one, I believe the thermal paste is pre-applied on this. There we go. Last one, last screw, whoops.
Yeah, I don't see a tube included. Also to note, it does look like you can do pull on the fans if you have tall ARGB RAM.
Yes, you can. And then you can just switch the bracket around, and it does provide, you can see it has brackets for basically both modes, which is actually pretty cool. And then what we're going to do, but we don't have tall RAM, so we're just going to slip that all the way down. And there we go. Now it is, and you can see this a little bit from the side camera, even if like this is